I'll have it with me just in case, because if I'm at the dentist, for example, and if there's like a large queue, I'll just pull out the sketchbook and start doing some sketching. It's as a warm-up. It can sometimes be for just generating ideas. I just like the sound of the pen on the paper and the whole feeling the texture and the instant feedback that you get from it.
So, I know you got here like winning the golden ticket,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, but is it your first time here?
It's my first time at THU, yeah. I've known about it since university, which was around 2017. But I was always a poor student, so I could never afford coming down up until very recently. I almost didn't try this year as well, but a lot of my friends just kept pushing me to do it. And I'm very glad I did, because I wouldn't be here doing this otherwise.
Let's see something you have there.
Yeah, of course. This is a very, very recent sketchbook. Starts off with Michael Hampton, figure studies, a lot of anatomy. And then I applied those anatomy studies to the figures, straight with ink. A lot of the influences from Terada and Jungi.
See the line's so clean.
Yes, yeah. When I showed this to Terada, actually, he said that the lines are very clean. Coming from him, that was a huge compliment. But the reason for that is usually so it makes me think a lot more before putting the line down. Also, if I use pencil for these, I tend to become a perfectionist.
Why the colors?
So I can keep track of what I've drawn what day, because I will do these every day in the morning with coffee usually before I start my work, kind of as a warm-up and to get my muscles and brain going. So each color is each different morning most of the time, and that way I can kind of keep track of how much I've drawn for the week.
There's focus written and
yes, can't focus.
Can focus.
Yeah.
So you drop some feelings you're having, or
Pretty much, yeah. I like to just write my thoughts out on the.
Are these
the
all
pages.
from reference?
70% are maybe from reference, and then there's a lot of imagination. I start off with reference, again, to just warm up, and then the rest is imagination. And you have some Terada studies here as well. The first game I actually played was Mortal Kombat 3 on Sega when I was about 6 years old. So that influenced me quite a lot in a very bad way, probably. And then, yeah, just seeing Sub-Zero rip someone's spine out when you're 6 years old can really change the way you think from an early age. But then it was just a lot of animations, a lot of anime, like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Naruto and that kind of stuff that was coming out around the time. Because the quality of the animation was so different from the Western stuff that I seen on Cartoon Network, because it was a lot more, Cartoon Network shows were a lot more stylized, a lot more simple shapes, whereas Japanese anime had a lot more kind of realistic but stylized proportions, and that's something that I try and put into my work, sort of a mix between realism and a little bit of stylization. Some more studies from Satoshi Kon, one of my favorite producers, worked on Perfect Blue and Paprika. For the last 2 years, I've tried to make the most use out of my time and just sketch whenever I can and just build up momentum. Once you have a strong knowledge of fundamentals, I think, it sort of allows you to not focus on it too much while you're drawing and focus more on the creative side, which is something that I would really like to be able to do without having to be bogged down by, anatomy and perspective and all that stuff. Maybe a page can take anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes. It depends on how chaotic the page is, essentially. Yeah, like this kind of stuff can maybe take 40, 50 minutes, I suppose.
So you're more attracted to characters now and human figures? Yeah,
I mean, it's just the emotion that you can portray with a character's face, with their hands, and just the interesting designs you can do. I have been trying to get more into environments as well. Just the reason I don't draw them is because I find it hard to draw them, but then I don't practice them. So I'll never be able to draw them if I don't practice them.
Do you have a lot of sketchbooks?
I do. I actually did a presentation here this year. And there was a picture of all the sketchbooks that I'd collected from 2014 when I started university. But it was around 14 or 15 sketchbooks within those 7 years. And just for the last year, I actually broke my record and managed to fill in like, I think 3 sketchbooks, and they're all like about maybe that thick.
Do you always buy the same kind of sketchbooks, or?
They're all actually vertical. This is the first spread one, and I actually was very hesitant on buying this one because I didn't think I would like it, and it took me a while to get used to, but I liked how compact it is and how condensed I've started drawing everything. It's kind of become part of my creative process. By overlaying my drawings or drawing them super close, I'll find some happy accidents and think that I wasn't normally planning. If things overlap, it could look like a cool illustration or cool idea for something, for a future project potentially.
You mostly work on illustration, or like?
I do a bit of everything. I do some illustrations for comics, and I also do character designs for games. I would like to be able to transition to mainly drawing traditionally, and I think these feel more alive, whereas some of my digital stuff tends to feel a bit artificial because I try and make every line perfect so it looks like it's been generated by the computer as opposed to actually being drawn by me. I've been toying with the idea of making some personal stories and maybe in an anime or in a comic book, graphic novel, just start using my skill to tell a story, because all of these are just completely out of context, random images.
What kind of stories are you attracted to? Like
most of the time, the very dark and existential ones, actually. Some of the favorite animes that I like are Ghost in the Shell from 1995, and this I should just point out, this one isn't mine. That's Dong Ho Kim. I pestered him to join my sketchbook when I met him, just to put it out there. I was so impressed watching him draw because it's the first time I've seen any of the Super Annie guys draw live, and he sketched this out in like 3 minutes or something, and my brain just like exploded when I was watching it. There was no hesitation in his lines. Normally I draw very slow. I have to think quite a lot, which, you know, it's not a bad thing.
How many hours do you spend a day?
It really depends. Some days I actually do spend like 12 hours. I'll wake up at 8, have some breakfast, and then I'll start doing these to warm up, do some freelance work, and then at the end of the day, to fulfill my creativity, I'll do more personal work, and then hate myself by the end of the day because I'll do it all again tomorrow, and it just keeps going. My parents actually tell me that I need to stop drawing and actually get out of the house, and they're probably right, yeah. It's more of a solitary thing now because I recently moved back to Bulgaria. I was in the United Kingdom in Norwich for 8 years because that's when I went to study and worked. And there we would meet up and do sketch groups and things like that. Back home in Varna, there's no one that really draws, so now it's become more of a solitary thing. And it's been so nice for the last few days here because you're just surrounded by people that draw, so every time you want to draw, you just join like a group and start exchanging ideas and sketchbooks, and it's great. Time of my life. I say I draw for 12 hours a day. It's not really forced. It's actually just because I like doing it. Yeah, especially over the last 2 years, I've kind of tried to turn it more into a lifestyle than just a career choice, I suppose. On the way here, I had 9 hours in Frankfurt to catch my flight to Lisbon. As opposed to waiting in the airport, I just got the first train, went into the city center and sat in the first coffee shop and just started sketching random people, and it was so nice because I didn't have to worry about, you know, going home and doing the laundry, what am I gonna have for food, things like that. So creativity flows so much more when I'm traveling. These last few ones were life drawing and drink and draw sessions here over the last few days.
Were you drinking?
I like being able to wake up without a hangover and being able to sketch, because then the next day I'll regret it. Everything is related to how is this going to benefit me in my drawings. So every decision I make kind of has to go through that question. Am I gonna be able to draw? Yes or no?
About the golden ticket, like how did you come up with the idea of that?
I don't always go in with an idea, like a solid vision for what I'm drawing. It will be like 20% of the idea, and then I'll start building on top. And that's sort of the thing, because the theme for this year was sustainability. So I just started drawing a lot of flowers and just made the association. What if the solar panels were giant flowers? Because that's what my final piece had. There we go. Yeah.
Oh, I was curious about that.
Yeah, I don't normally write my ideas down. This is the only time that I had to take some notes. But I started off with like just some warm-ups again, and then slowly from left to right usually, putting random things down like characters, flowers. And a lot of it isn't even related to me thinking of ideas. I'll just naturally start putting things down until ideas just start happening. And then there was these giant heads with flowers, so the idea was maybe people spliced some plant DNA with their genes to start photosynthesizing or something like that. And then you just have more characters and overlapping. And usually if I overlap things like that, it's because I hate the drawing as well. Yeah, some of this stuff is actually just unreadable. I tend to write so small. Even like all the drawings that I do are so tiny that now when I had to draw on like a bigger piece of paper, I was having such a hard time trying to scale everything up.
You like details?
I love details, yeah. Makes it more interesting to look at, in my opinion. We were talking about Akira and Ghost in the Shell and all those old school anime. It just has so much detail and it's so interesting to look at. Everything looks lived in, things look like they function. It's super immersive, in my opinion. So I try and include that in my work as well.
Okay, so Boyan, you can put that one to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, pick a page, any page. If you have your tools, feel free to.
Yeah. Right, let's see what this one is. Okay, yeah, let's just do this one, I think. Okay, what do we draw?
I'm afraid of talking to you when you're doing that.
No, that's okay. I literally, I was just talking as I was drawing today for the whole day. So it's something that I like to do.
So do you feel lonely sometimes? Just
Yeah, sometimes I just enjoy being able to just talk nonsense while I'm drawing, and reduces the hesitation of putting lines down.
how is to meet you like these kind of heroes you have?
It's been very inspirational, actually, especially getting to talk to them and finding more about their thoughts. Not so much how they draw their arm or, you know, how they pick colors, but more just getting to know them as people, seeing what their habits are like and things like that I find more interesting.
And it's also really important for an artist to know it himself or herself. Like.
Oh, yes, yeah, of course. I think the other day I was talking to someone about how if your personality reflects in your artwork, and I think it definitely does. That's why I was so curious to meet all the artists here, because it's just the stuff that they put down on the canvas is so interesting, and I don't know, I really kind of want to dissect their brain and see how it works and how do you come up with these sort of crazy concepts. I really like it when artworks don't really tell the whole story and it's kind of like left for interpretation a little bit. I've been drawing a lot of alligators recently.
Why?
The initial idea was because I wanted to draw dragons a bit better. So I started studying alligators because I thought they had some similar features. The scales and like the teeth and the eyes and everything.
Now I know why you picked the page. That page. And you remembered what to draw. I think, because there's an alligator there, right?
Was there?
Yeah, the next page.
Oh, maybe subconsciously. Oh, there was, yeah. Okay, well, yeah. It's becoming a problem.
So you just watch Evangelion now.
I've tried to sort of expand my library of stuff, and I started going back and watching stuff from the 90s and the 80s. I also watched Neo Tokyo and Memories. Has that Akira vibe with the animation. Everything is so clean and so detailed. So much craftsmanship.
So detailed.
Yeah.
And so many frames.
So many frames, yeah. It's painful to think how much time they actually had to spend drawing those things.
Yeah.
Okay, I think. Do I need to sign it? I don't normally sign my works. The first time they gave me something to sign and just said, we need your signature, I had no idea what that was. So I just drew the letter B and was just like, okay, here you go. And up until recently, my signature was just a B.
Really?
Yeah, but not really interesting, like no curves or anything. It was just like Phonetica type B. And yeah, I recently thought I should probably change it.
Why? You should have kept it.
I probably should have. It would have been an interesting style, maybe. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Last thing. You have to sign inside that.
Sign inside the thing. What,
Yeah.
just signature.
You now have a signature.
Yeah, no, I do actually. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Here you go.
So that's it.
Awesome.